Okay, so we are in causal inference and statistics, and we are on question 1.3.2. And so we're supposed to look at this table, and we'll look at this in a second, and then with the data contained in this table, estimate these different probabilities, so A through D. So the probability that a person finished high school, that they finish high school or female, and you can read the rest. So we'll go through them one at a time. So what is this table? So this table gives us some data, and it must have a sample. I think that there is, how many? There's 2,440 individuals that were sampled. So that's, I get that by adding this entire column up. And at least two things were collected about them, whether they were male or female, and the highest education that they achieved, whether that was they didn't finish high school, they finished high school but didn't finish college but didn't go on to graduate school, finished graduate school. Okay. So the first thing we want to estimate is the probability of high school. Okay. So to do that, so we can look at the expression. So what we need to do is we need to go through our highest education achieved column and find everything for, find everything for high school. So here's high school, one entry for male, one for female. And so all we need to do is add up the entry for males as well as for females, right? Because we don't care about, right, our question doesn't care about which sex the person is. We just want to know what their highest education achieved was, okay? And so we add those up. So it's 231 plus 189, okay, shown here, okay? That's male high school, female high school, divided by everything else, okay? And so when I add everything else together, I get this fraction, okay? And so that gives me a percentage of 17.2. So in other words, in our sample, or maybe related samples, or similar samples, then 17.2% of people are expected to have finished high school but not moved forward in their education. Okay, so now number B, or letter B, is the probability of high school or female. Okay, so again, we go now we're concerned with both sex and highest education achieved, and so we need to find everything that shows high school. So we have one entry for males, we have one entry for females, or they were female. Okay, well, we have 4 female entries, but we're already counting one of them, okay, for high school. Okay, so these are the entries that we have. So we have male high school or female high school, right? So that takes care of our high school requirement, or female. Well, one of the female entries here is female in high school, so we've already done that one. And then female never finished high school, female finished college, female finished graduate school. Okay, so we just add all of those up. Again, we're dividing by the total amount of entries we have here, which is 2,440, and we put them as a fraction, and we get 61.1%. Okay, so now we get into some conditional probabilities. So the first one is estimate the probability of high school given that we're talking about females. Okay, so we can tackle this a couple of different ways. One is we can just use the definition of a conditional probability, which is the conditional probability of A and B, so maybe high school is A and female is B, is the probability of A and B divided by the probability of B, but we're not really using probabilities here, we're using counts, okay? So we can just take the number of occurrences of we can take the number of occurrences of A and B happening together divided by the occurrences of just B happening together, right? That's a definition of conditional probability. And so now we just expand those terms out. So we have one entry for female and high school. And then for female, well, we have 4 entries, right? Because a female can never finished high school, finished college, or finished graduate school. Okay, and again, we just set the fraction and we get 15%. Okay, and now we can look at the reverse of this. I don't know if so rather than what is the probability of high school given that it's a female, right? So in other words, what's the probability that a female finishes high school? Now we can look at the probability of female given high school. In other words, what is the probability that someone finished high school is female? And this is a different question, okay, than the first one, but we go through the same process. So again, we can define the conditional probability as, we can define it as, it's as the probability of the joint A and B divided by the probability of B, but again, we're using occurrences. So the number of occurrences where A and B occur together divided by the number of occurrences where just B occurs, or I shouldn't say just B, but where B occurs regardless of A. Okay. All right, and so I just go through, I set up my fraction, and I get 45%.